My name is Kelly Rosenthal. I'm here with my friends at Guitar Center to talk to you about the Fender Vintera II series Stratocaster. Here I have the 70s model in a surf green. So I'm a guitar player, I'm a songwriter and a musical director. I've played with artists like Lizzy McAlpine and Camila Cabello, and I have my own project called I Am Strikes. So I've been a Strat player for as long as I've played guitar, and this is the first time I've had this Strat in my lap. And a few things are really jumping out at me initially. First, I really love the feel of this U neck. As you can imagine, it's a U, so it feels really, really comfortable in the hand. I feel like the whole neck is making contact with my palm, which feels really nice. Also, it's clear that Fender was up to something in the 70s here because you can see there are some aesthetic markers that are different from the 50s, 60s, and also just like a standard Strat. For example, the headstock here is large. This is a 70s style headstock, we call it. We also have these vintage tuners here that are F-stamped on the back, so they're different as well. There's also an F-stamped neck plate here too. I'm also just really struck by this surf green color. I think it's such a classic color. I also think it paired with the slab rosewood fretboard is just really beautiful. It just is an instrument I want to look at, let alone play. So I think that's really important. I think as a player, even though it sounds a little cliche, I think it's cool to have an aesthetically pleasing instrument. I find that when I like the way my guitars look, I tend to play them a little bit more. I want to have them out instead of in the case, which just makes them a little bit more inviting to play. So one of the things I think that's really important to note about the Vintera II series instruments is that they're at a bit more of an accessible price point than some previous Fender vintage spec models. You can really get these pickups that are voiced from these vintage eras, as well as some of these staple colors without having to pay necessarily like top dollar for them. As a Strat player, I lean more towards the 5th and the 4th position pickups. They're kind of the most distinct Strat sounding. But just to toss things up a little bit here, I'm going to start with a little demo that's on the bridge pickup. Yeah, so when I'm on that bridge pickup here, I'm like really compelled to play something a bit twangy. And the bridge pickup can be kind of magical for some twang because it really will cut through a mix. So I was kind of just like compelled to play something a little bit swingy, something a little bit folky. I think with any instrument, it's essential that you allow it to dictate your style of playing. I think that if you can really connect with an instrument, you can find that it draws something different out of you than maybe another instrument does. So whenever I'm demoing an instrument, I really try to think about, or not so much think about, but more like feel what the instrument wants. Let's hear what the neck middle blend sounds like. I also want to do a little bit of experimenting with this vintage style tremolo to give you an idea of kind of like the wavy vibrato that we can come up with here. So we were just in the 5th position and the 4th position on the Strat here. I'm tempted when I play in the 4th to play in the higher regions on the guitar, to kind of lean into that treble cut through. And when I'm playing in the 5th, I just tend to let things be a little bit more airy. That position just lends itself to something that's a little bit wider, more wavery, more relaxed. I even just feel relaxed right now having just played what I played. So yeah, that 5th and 4th position on this guitar sounds really, really, really nice in my opinion. So with your volume and tone knobs, you can really experiment with some different sounds on these guitars. Sometimes I like to roll back on the volume a little bit because it allows me to like dig in more without just feeling like I'm being too aggressive. So I'm just gonna like roll back on the volume a tiny bit and then just do some kind of like percussive strumming and we can hear what that sounds like. There's something about this guitar that like invites me to play something a little bit funky. I'm not sure if it's about the voicing of the pickups or just the feel of the neck. I think it's no coincidence that these guitars were played in the 70s and that this is like a 70s spec model. So one of the other things that's striking me about this instrument is the roundness of the fretboard. It's a 7 1/4 radius, so it's not particularly unusual for a Strat, and certainly not for the Vintera II line. They all have this 7 1/4 radius. But I think there's maybe something about the combination of this U neck shape as well as the roundness of the fingerboard that's just striking me as round. I can really kind of feel it, and it's inviting me to just wrap my thumb around and chord really nicely. It just feels really comfortable, is the best way that I can put it. Yeah, I highly suggest you pick this up if you get a chance to, and I think you'll feel what I mean. If you want to learn more about this instrument or the other instruments in the Vintera II line, you can go to guitarcenter.com, you can call up a Guitar Center and talk to one of their expert gear advisors, or you can head to your local Guitar Center and play one yourself.